Hello everyone. This video is to talk about GE washing machines that maybe you moved it from one house to another or for some reason had to move it, and all of a sudden you go back to use it after hooking it up and it makes a horrible scraping sound, especially when it's doing the wash or the agitate part of the cycle. I've ran into this frequently. I would say I almost do 1 or 2 repairs a month, and usually right after the first when people are moving. And it's almost always from sticking the two-wheeler dolly underneath the machine and then lifting it with that tongue of the dolly. That crushes the bottom of those GE washers up because they're very flimsy. They're not able to handle the weight of the machine upon itself doing that. Well, that crushed up part of the base makes contact with the pulley or the chassis or the hanging assembly when it does its agitation motion, and especially the pulley, and it makes a loud metal to metal screeching kind of sound or rubbing kind of sound that's very loud. And the repair for it is quite simple and straightforward. I'm going to show you here a couple of pictures. I don't have a machine here right now while I'm doing this video, so I'm using some old stock pictures from my previous videos. But the first thing you want to do is remove the front panel. And to do that, just use like a flat blade screwdriver or a flat putty knife that's real stiff or sturdy. And about 3 inches from the corner on each side of the front panel is where the clips are located that hold that panel in place. Just to press the clip or push it in and then pull the panel forward. You'll do that on both sides, and I should be showing you pictures of both here. Once you've released the front panel, keep in mind that all these parts on the inside are sharp and they will cut you. They're not rounded or made safe for you're not normally getting in contact with these parts of the machine, so they're all left raw and sharp. So handling this panel, be very careful not to cut yourself, as with the rest of the inside parts of the machine. Now, once you have tilted the front of the panel towards you, just lift it up, and it'll come up off of the little hinges on the bottom that it's sitting on, and set that panel aside. Once you've set the panel aside, you may be able to go ahead and just press the bottom down like it is without having to remove anything or take anything else apart. So you can try that first and see if you can go ahead and get the panel to pop back down in place. But if it's was lifted from the back, more than likely you're going to have to go ahead and do the next steps, which is, number one, we want to take the water pump. It's an electric water pump. There's 2 screws that mount it to the base, and since we need to pull the base away from the frame of the machine, we have to be able to let the pump hang separate from that. So take these 2 screws off, and I believe they're 3/8 is what size they are, but anyway, just remove those and set them aside. Everything else on the pump, you can leave it like it is. It'll hang from the water hoses and from the electrical wire that's on there. And of course, once you've gotten to this point, make sure you have unplugged the machine, because you don't want to have live wires in here while you're working on it. So unplug the machine and then go ahead and take those 2 screws off. The next thing you want to do, on the bottom right hand corner here of this picture, you see the 2 front screws that hold the base to the side panel. That's on the right front corner. Left front corner looks the same. So remove all 4 of those screws, 2 on the right bottom corner and 2 on the left bottom corner. Now once you've done that, pull the machine away from the wall a little bit, and then what you're going to do is you're going to tilt it back on its back feet and let the top panel rest gently against the wall. Now you want to pull it far enough that it's going to stay there without having any danger of falling on you, of course, but don't pull it too far, because if you pull it too far, it'll fall down to the floor. So you have to kind of gauge that for yourself. Just be careful doing it and make sure it's going to stay in place. Once you've done that, I don't have pictures of this part, but I'm going to go ahead and tell it to you. It's not hard to figure out. There's 3 screws starting right underneath where the front foot is on each side. And so take those 3 screws, they're all 1/4 inch, and remove them. Once you've removed those 3 screws from both sides, that panel will just flop down away from the side and from the machine, so you can actually then you can step on it or press down on it or whatever you need to do to get it back in the straight shape that it was supposed to be in. And once you've done that, go ahead and put everything back together, put the screws back where they came from, and once you get everything put back together and put the front panel on, you should be good to go. Start it up, and you'll all of a sudden find that noise is no longer there. It's hard to see that problem when you take the panel off if there's no water or clothes in the machine. The reason it's hard to see it is because the weight of the water and the clothes pull down on those suspension rods that have springs in them, and then it makes contact on the bottom when it's full. So when it's empty, it may not look like there's anything wrong. So there you go. That's how you fix it. I just lost one of my lights, so I'm going to have to go investigate that.